What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another honest review today. I have another TURBOBEE in the house to check out for you guys. We're going to fly it. I'm going to talk about the components that they used on here. We're going to talk about how durable this quad is, and most importantly we're going to talk about how well it flies. I'm going to fly this on 2, 3, and 4S. It only has a 12 amp ESC, but it says that it's rated up to about a 4S battery, so we're just going to gently test out a 4S battery on here. Not really something that I would recommend flying this quad on, but it did handle it, and the tune is quite good on here, even on 3 and 4S. So the 4S battery is spectacular on this quad, and the neatest thing about this quad, I guess, is the fact that it is kind of like, it's like a tiny whoop on steroids, so to speak. So you can fly this one indoors on 2S and really fly around your house and bump in and in and out of things, no problem. It can take some pretty good hits. If you hit anything super solid with this quad with a lot of speed, you will break one of these front prop guards because they're not the most durable prop guards in the world. I'm just going to tell you that right off the bat so that you know you have the information there. It's not like a polycarbonate type of plastic. It's just kind of a, seems like a cheap grade kind of plastic that probably should be a little bit better. Something like the Geprc I believe it was the Cinepro, that had a super nice thick and dense type of I believe it was polycarbonate type of plastic. So this is different than that. Also similar to that Tiny Hawk canopy, super indestructible little canopies. So I would suggest that iFlight start using that type of plastic. But other than that con, the rest of this seems to function and fly really, really well. And this one flies better than any whoop that I've had. And I have a hard time calling this a whoop since it is basically a micro brushless with prop guards on it. 1105 motors. I mean, this thing is super beastie with the Avon props on here that are nearly indestructible that they chose to put on here as well. So whether you want to just chill and fly smooth, or you want to fly fast and rip and be able to fly something that's sort of a whoop style without that sort of washout that we have in some of those big maneuvers. And I tried really hard to get this thing to wash out, and I think you're going to be impressed that it handled some of the things that it did handle, and it has prop guards. There are also ultra thin prop guards all the way around, so they're thinner than normal, way thinner than like a ducted whoop style duct. So this allows it to have a little more maneuverability without having that sort of kickback from that duct. So let's go ahead now, let's do a quick spec check on it, and then we'll go out and do some flying, and then I'll come back in and we'll talk about this for my final thoughts and my review score. Here we go guys, enjoy.
This quad can run 2 to 4S HV batteries up to about 650 milliamp, and it has a 111 millimeter wheelbase on here, and it has a 3 millimeter carbon unibody frame, semi-durable prop guards with an Avon 2327 prop on here, 1105 4500B motors on here, and we have 4 bolts on the bottom here. We have our dipole back here with our antenna mounts, the XT30 and the XM Plus receiver hiding just in there. My favorite is a flat top, super easy to get the battery on and off, nice buckle and metal buckle there actually. Cadex Turbo EOS 2 on this baby with plenty of protection right here. You have a TPU printed mount as well, kind of dampens it fairly nice. Not a lot of vibes in the flying at all. And we have the Sussex Micro F4 16x16 flight controller, 12 amp V2 ESCs up to 4S, and we have the V2 VTX on here running 200 milliwatt with smart audio. And my battery of choice today was the 3S 650 to 550 battery. The weight without the battery is 86.8 grams. With the 3S 550, we're looking at right around 140.8 grams. Total takeoff weight, well under 250 grams. But let's go ahead now, let's have some fun. So first thing I'm gonna do for our flight test is go ahead and ramp it up to 200 milliwatt here inside the smart audio. You can do that by going into these menus. Stick left and right stick up will take you into those menus. And now I'm good to go. My battery is not the greatest. It seems to be kind of tanking here, but we're gonna go ahead and see what I can get out of this battery. Even though it's not fully engaged, we're just gonna really get in there and start figuring out what this quad can do. Usually my first flight on a new quad, it kind of shows me what the quad is capable of, because I'm able to really send a quad if it will let me as far as freestyle goes. But right now I'm finding out what my limits are, and it seems like this quad has all the capabilities of a standard micro brushless. So I'm able to do things like this, split S over trees. I'm able to do even big power loops or other similar moves like transitions that I've done with micro brushless. And the cool thing is that I haven't seen a washout yet. I haven't seen this quad flip backwards on me. I haven't been able to freak out the flight controller and make it become unstable. And they're going for another power loop. And power loops, no problem. Really smooth power loops. And the cool thing about this is that while I do feel like it's holding back a little bit because of the prop guards, I don't feel like I have the handicap I do for freestyle that you would normally get with a traditional whoop. So that's why this one would be considered more of a power whoop type quad. It's a hybrid, it's in between both. You have nice protection for your props because of the prop guards, but they're not giving me that tumble, which is really great. Here's a little bit of vibrations here I noticed in the punch out, full up punch out, and now diving back down. And this is where I would think that the flight controller would lumber and kind of wobble to the side. A lot of times whoops will catch a little bit of air on the way down and they will wobble, but with the Sussex flight controller in here, no probs. F4, handling it. Even some low to the ground type stuff. And this quad really is so light that you can get away with some crazy stuff. My buddies were standing over there, but again, this is sort of flying fairly slow like a whoop would. Not a big danger to people around you. Super light. I believe this one was, yeah, it was around 150 grams, pretty lightweight. But very, very maneuverable and controlled. I love the way it feels in the air. Very predictable where this quad is going on the sticks. And I feel like I can fly it a little better because of that. It would be a great freestyle trainer in that aspect. And because the lines, you can prejudge your lines. Unless you do that, you come in a little too close to that tree. But no problem again, just take off, no big deal. The loop around this tree. That's a really nice tree to loop. I'm going to go back up here and do a sort of halfway power loop. And there is where I broke my prop guard. But a solid tree like that will do it, and concrete will do it too. But the cool thing about this quad also is that you can slow it down on 2S and really start to hit some of those small gaps. This is where you could have fun flying this quad indoors in the winter when it gets rainy. So we have a lot of versatility with this quad, and that's why I'm going to probably give it a pretty high score today. It did really, really well in the flight test. It was a lot of fun to fly this quad. I'm totally stoked on the TURBOBEE 111R. All right, let's go back to the studio now. Let me give you my final opinion.
All right, guys, welcome back into the studio. So I have to say that, you know, my first battery with this, I flew it 3S, and I was pretty impressed with the performance right off of my bench. When I took off across the field, I noticed that the tune was really nice. And then when I really got on the throttle, I didn't have any vibrations in the camera, and I didn't have a lot of trouble boosting up over trees and doing power loops with this quad. Normally with this style setup, I'm usually not trying power loops and things like that very frequently. I'm just kind of doing, you know, more whoop-like flying. So with this one, it felt like a good combination of having that whoop type protection to my propellers. I knew that I wasn't going to break any props, so I could fly it like a micro brushless, but I could slow it down enough in the slower speeds to be able to go through gaps and in between trees and explore a little bit. So you kind of have the best of both worlds in this type of frame, in this whoop. This is sort of definitely like a hybrid micro brushless whoop in my opinion. And also, I think the price is pretty decent, around $129. I think this one is, that's PNP without the receiver on here. But you can also get one with XM Plus on there, which is the one that I'm going to recommend, because I was able to get this one out there. Even with these little shorty antenna stubs on the back, I was able to get it out there probably 3 football fields away. So XM Plus is a pretty nice full range receiver. And the flight controller on here is great. The Sussex F4 is dependable. The Maytech F411 firmware on here is also great. So overall, I think it's kind of an interesting concept, and I kind of like to see more of these super ultra light style micro brushless slash whoops, especially since whoop season's coming in, and when it starts to get colder or rainier outside, I know that I can put 2S on this one and cruise around the house, up and down the stairs, and do whatever I want with this quad. So it has that versatility, and then you can take it outside and also have a lot of fun doing some huge, massive power loops and freestyle maneuvers with this one. So it's kind of a cool concept for this quad, and it's different than the cinema whoops out there. It flies way different than the little TURBOBEE or any of those other quads that felt kind of heavy from the get-go, because with that extra power system that you have on here, the 1105s really wake this quad up and make it fly like a micro brushless. But at the end of the day, with the versatility, the durability, I can take a couple points off for that. And I think everything else about it was mostly pros. So more pros with this one than cons. And it's safe to say that we can rate this one fairly high, because I think iFlight has another winner with this one. It's not a cinema type whoop by any means, but it is a really fun quad to fly with whoop or micro brushless type performance. So again, best of both worlds, and the score for this one is going to be 4.6 out of 5, a fairly high rating for this quad. But thanks again, guys, for watching my channel. I'm Justin Davis. As always, please do subscribe and click that notification button down below for the new videos coming out, and enjoy all these new quads coming out with me. Thanks again, guys. See you on the next one. Take care.